So now that we have the project up on GitHub and that we have created 3 different branches to work and distribute to developers, testers, and over to the app stores, let's go ahead and start implementing Visual Studio App Center. So I will first navigate over to visualstudio.microsoft.com/app-center. Of course, the URL is on the resources for you as well. And we're just going to get started for free. Now I already have my account set up, but you would be navigated over to set up your account. You basically only have to sign in, and you could actually sign in with your own GitHub account that you already have and that you probably used in the previous lecture, or with a Microsoft or Facebook or Google accounts. But basically you're going to be navigated over to appcenter.ms/apps. And here you probably don't have any applications unless you have created one before. In my case, I do see a few that I have with this account, even a couple of organizations, but it doesn't matter. What you're going to go ahead is go to add new and first select add new organization. So creating an organization first is going to be important to manage teams, to manage who are going to be developers, who are going to be testers, and of course have more teams if you need to. So I will go ahead and create the Learn Programming Academy organization. Of course, you can have your own organization. This has to be unique, by the way. And I'm going to be navigated over to a new organization here, which currently has no apps. But I will go ahead and add a new application. And by the way, you will have to create one application for each of the platforms that you support. And we'll start here by creating the finance.ios app. And precisely this is going to be my finance application for this course. This is going to be the iOS version. I will have to create the Android version as well. And I will set the platform to be Xamarin, which is obviously what we're using. So I will add this new application and it will immediately be created and we will be navigated over to it. And we will see the overview of how we can start linking this new App Center application with our application over on Xamarin. We're going to be doing that later. Let me navigate back to App Center, to my organization, and create a new application. And this is going to be the finance.android application. And I will set a quick description in here so that this is the Android version of the application and that this is, of course, Xamarin. And so now I have these 2 applications ready. Now, before moving forward with creating this link between our projects and these new App Center applications, I want you to navigate again back to App Center, select your organization, and go over to People. In here is where you will be able to first invite collaborators. Maybe someone else is helping you out with this code. Create teams, and more importantly, create distribution groups. So for example, in teams, we could create a new developers team. And in here, add all of the members that are going to be developing with us. And of course, add all of the applications that these people are going to have access to and the role that they're going to have. In this case, because this is the developer team, I would want to assign developer role for both of the applications. And go ahead and close this. Another team that I have usually created is status managers. So I have worked with some teams that usually have these people that are managing and taking a look at the status of the application, how the users are interacting with it, maybe the bugs that have been found, and overall how the application is being used. And so I would add both applications as well, but these ones are just going to be viewers. So can view and download app data, but they cannot manage the services and cannot invite members. So these are just some quick examples of teams that I have had in the past, but the distribution groups are going to be more important in here. Here is where you may be having the alpha testers and alpha testers to iOS. for example. So you only distribute these applications. Eventually, of course, here you add all of those testers, but maybe just assign the iOS version of the application. So maybe you have a list of testers who have iOS devices. You add them right here and you set them access to the iOS application. And then you create the alpha testers. Android, create the new group. Of course, here you would add all of those testers just by typing their email and access the Android application. Now, by the way, here I'm just defining this alpha, but this could be beta testers. And in fact, what you could do is on GitHub have an additional branch. One maybe is alpha testers and another one is beta testers. In this case, I'm just going to have this one testers branch for the alpha testers groups, but that is something that you could do. But this is basically what you have to do to have these groups created. Now, if we head back to one of the applications, let's head back, for example, to iOS, you will be able to find in distribute these alpha testers iOS. Of course, right now I have no testers, but here is where eventually you will have all of those testers that accept your invitation. By the way, they would receive an email, and for some reason, at least in my case, this has been received on the spam folder. So make sure that your testers do figure out where the email is and accept your invitation. But overall, here is where you will be able to distribute to your users. Another important part that we will be using is the build tab. In here is where we're going to set up GitHub in the next lecture, so we can react to the pushes that happen to one of our branches or the 3 branches that we're going to be working with. So this is the basic setup of App Center. We now have both of our applications for iOS and Android. We also have created some distribution groups that we can now see over in the distribute tab. I showed you iOS, but of course this will happen on Android as well. As you can see, we have the alpha testers Android distribution group in here. In collaborators, you will see the collaborators that you may find. Of course, right now, this is just me. But now in the next lecture, we're going to go ahead and start connecting App Center first with GitHub. Then we're going to go ahead and connect with our Visual Studio project, so we can take a look at what these analytics and diagnosis tabs are for.